what you do with your cooking machines. Okay?
Right, we'll kick us underway and I welcome you to E. Hayes and Sons, the best hardware shop in New Zealand and everywhere else, of course. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the eighth wonder of the world. I call it that because most people, first of all, they wander past here and they look at it and wonder what the hell it is. It is a single-cylinder petrol motor. And the usual thing after that is to wonder how it came about. We'll see the little bit of information we've got there. Back in 1980s, Norman Hayes, who was the owner of the company and a sort of self-taught engineer, was having a debate with his mate about the virtues of steam compared to petrol. Now, as you know, men debate, women argue, and this debate went on for a while. They couldn't actually come to an agreement. His mate was saying with steam, you put them in on the assembly line, and steam was cheaper to reproduce compared to petrol because petrol needed the carburetors, all the timing gear, and things like that, and that sort of adds up in cost. To prove the point, Norman entered a wager of $20 that he will produce a petrol motor from the junk in his workshop. So they shook upon it and away they went. Now again, with that theme of being the eighth wonder, the next thing I wonder about is whether his mate had a bit of Scottish heritage in him. Because apparently he passed away when Norman finished it, so he didn't have to pay for it. And the other thing I wonder, talking of Neville, unfortunately Norman's passed on now, but his son was saying that Norman was always tinkering around. He had two big workshops, two big garages in his house, and he would be tinkering around, restoring lathes and fixing up bits and pieces. And they never knew that he was doing this. It was just as well, because if you walked in there and saw a guy making this, you probably put a straight jacket on and that would be the end of it, But anyway, that's all the theory out of the road now. I'll give you a rundown on the real sort of parts. And we start off with the petrol tank there.
Pressure.
Yeah. I think the wife got a bit upset on that somewhere online. But anyway, the petrol's pumped up by the fuel pump, and then it goes to the float chamber, and then to the carburetor. Most of your Triumph guys will know about that, fuel injection. Now, to reflect the fact that this is a shoestring budget product, we've got the inlet valve spring, shoestring, valve lifter, and camshaft, which you can see is a bit lumpy.
So it's overhead cam.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Before it starts.
Yeah, and the other one's a side valve as well, so it's a contradiction in terms. We've got the spark plug there, which is fired by the trip magneto. We've got the cylinder, piston, crankshaft and con rod assembly. The original design had a hardwood piston, and dare I say it was Australian hardwood. I know you'd appreciate that, as in a lot of this stuff is. Hang on, I'll get around this side when I say this. While it did work some of the time, no, with wood, you got the, depending on humidity, it's expanded, contracted, and it wasn't as reliable as he would like, so he put a metal piston in it. We have a muffler there, and respectfully ask you not to use it till after the demonstration, you might get your own back. The valve right here, and the shoestring, spring, camshaft and cam lifter. Now you will notice that there's a sign on here with regard to there is a patent pending on this machinery. I kid you not, we've had the Ferrari and McLaren and they're all pinching trade secrets. There's been a big court case recently. So if you're into any designing, then we don't want to see any of this on your machinery. In particular the oil pump here, high tech. The oil bath situated here, and this shaft as it rotates round is a nail which is at a prescribed, very carefully prescribed length, dangles through the oil. As it comes round, back up here, it strikes that bar and the oil's rubbed off and it flows down there and lubricates the cylinder. Highly tuned. As I say, we don't want that sort of secret getting out. And we have spies in Australia too, so don't make sure you know. And then the next thing we have is the water cool system. We've got the radiator down there. Now the water's pumped from the radiator by this stirrup pump, and that flows into the bottom of the water jacket, and then the excess flows back over there and down the chain and away. And this is a particular point in the advert where you say, but wait, there's more. I do require a volunteer, and the volunteer preferably has to have medical insurance. However, if you haven't got it, we do have a deal down here. Right, yes, you've been volunteered. Come on over here. I want you to put your finger over there. Don't go anywhere near that part. Because you probably find that you'll be talking languages that no one would realise even knew. When I tell you to take your finger off, do so very quickly, because St John's hate it when we call them up and say, we've got another one stuck up the spout.
Does it have a kickback, Les?
Very loosely.
The point is,
You have got insurance, haven't you? Rightio.
For one leg.
he's watched us on the phone doubling it.
Now that noise is not his nerves getting on.
What's that going down your leg, Barry?
That's so good.
Anyone got any more clues on how I can help here?
Yeah.
Take off.
Ah, you started it.
What a hoot.
That is unbelievable.
Needs more acceleration.
Unfortunately, we can't run it too long. As you see, you
It
didn't put a
sets the
mission
alarm.
control on it. If we run it, it sets off the smoke alarm, so you have to go stand outside.
That's unbelievable.
Which, to do that, it buggers us up. We can't take any money off you, see.
That's beautiful. That is.
Now, this unit has never driven anything, should I say, apart from people's imagination and mirth. We don't know how many horsepower it is. And everything on it, like this little sign there, and Briggs and Stratton hired this unit a few years ago to take it to Mystery Creek in outside Palmerston North, which is an agricultural field day which runs for about 3 days. And they had it on their site. And we had to put it on there to distinguish between the Briggs and Stratton, because as you see, it starts first time every time with Briggs. We didn't want to give them a bad name.
That is unbelievable.
It's nice where you drop in. We do have a visitors book just down the bottom of the ramp. Please sign.